World Cup hype train continued today in day 5 here in America, and all of the games we had today were outstanding. I mean, I think it's just a trend of this World Cup that we're just going to have continued excellent games throughout this group stage, hopefully into the knockouts as well. We had a few newcomers um, this year, and I think the most surprising of which is Cape Verde. Yeah, Cape Verde, they proved a shock result in drawing Spain, which is very hard to do, as a lot of people have predicted that they are going to win the tournament outright. If you look at just the momentum graph here, it's all Spain. And if you were watching the game, it was all Spain. Spain had the ball for pretty much the entirety of the game while watching. I think if it wasn't for the Cape Verde goalkeeper, let's see what's his name here. Yeah, this guy right here, Vazina. Outstanding performance by him. He was lights out the entire game. I think a big club might be looking at him in Europe after a performance like that with how good he performed. Got a bit lucky there when that shot went off the crossbar from pretty much point blank, but the it was just outstanding performance by him and the entire Cape Verde team. Just insanely defensively resilient, set up well, stopped most opportunities that Spain had into their box. I know Spain had 27 shots, but a lot of those shots were um, positioned well where the goalkeeper could make those saves. Um, and it wouldn't. It's not downright fair to say that Cape Verde were just only defending. They had a couple chances to get a goal themselves. It's just they unfortunately lack um, kind of that star power to threaten a team like Spain. But they did prove themselves capable of competing with Spain, and they should be proud. It's their first World Cup experience, and to draw Spain, the number two in the world right now, at a World Cup as big of this is just an outstanding performance. And I think every single Cape Verde player and just fan should just be immensely proud with how their nation fared. And for Spain, that is a little embarrassing. I think for the Spanish team, they should have probably blown away Cape Verde. I know Cape Verde did pretty well in qualifying through Africa. They're one of the better teams, that is. But Spain should be blowing away this entire group. They are far out the best team. And if they draw another game, or even lose to Uruguay or maybe in Saudi Arabia, um, it will prove to be a difficult um, run in for them to get out. Speaking of which, we'll talk about Uruguay and Saudi Arabia later. A little spoiler that they drew. Um, I'm assuming for those of you that didn't watch. But for our next game, we got Belgium versus Egypt. Belgium versus Egypt was another really good game. Um, this one, I think Egypt was dominating for most of it from just my perspective. I know uh, Belgium had a lot more of the momentum or had a lot more of the better opportunities, but I think Egypt, for at least the first 45 or so, um, they were they're a lot more clinical with their chances. Even though they had less of the ball, they got their goal. They were pretty good, few a good sequence of passing plays, and it was really good finish, I think. And I think they missed a couple of other opportunities. I wish they kind of relied more on Salah to get them maybe a second goal. They did take him off pretty early. I don't know if that's just to conserve his stamina for the rest of the group stage. But I wish they kind of relied a bit more on him and maybe Mamouche to maybe get a bit more out of this game. And for Belgium, having to rely on Romelu Lukaku in 2026 to drag you out of the hole is it's a weird world, because I feel like when you're looking at Belgium, they're way past their golden generation of like Eden Hazard and his generation. Romelu Lukaku is kind of like the tail end of that right now. Same with Courtois. And if you're still having to bring him on to get something out of this game when you got the likes of Jeremy Doku up front to help facilitate the goals, says something. And it's just I think it's just typical Lukaku fashion that he comes on, sprints into the box and causes an own goal. It's just ultimate aura for him, I'd have to say. But looking ahead for the table after day one here, it's all tied up, and they have a pretty uphill battle to get through. They did play Egypt, probably their hardest competition to get out, but Iran and New Zealand after today, for those of you that watched that game, I'll talk about that later as well. They played really good too. So this is not no this is no easy group for Belgium after the results today, and I think they will be probably maybe uh, their coach will probably be looking ahead and strategizing a bit more to get more out of his players, hopefully. Now, for what I think is was arguably game of the day, was Saudi Arabia versus Uruguay. If you didn't watch it, I'm so sorry that you missed out. It was outstanding from start to finish. It was I was on the edge of my seat watching this game. First 45, Saudi Arabia was dominating, in my opinion. They got that goal late after at the end of the first half, and they were just dominant. I think they had a lot better chances in the first half, and I don't know what happened during the halftime talk, but it was just Saudi Arabia just could not get on the ball at all. I think it might have been a mixture of inexperience and fitness were the leading factors for them struggling in the second half. They defended really well, and I give them a lot of credit for that. Defending against Uruguay it was a really tough South American team, really rugged, will get at you, and to defend like they did for as long as they did, really good. Shows a lot of promise for Saudi Arabia to potentially make a run at getting out of their group, or even getting far into the knockouts if they do get out of their group. And going back to Uruguay in the second half, they had the ball pretty much 100% of the time, almost shot after shot, wave after attack, wave after attack, wave of attack. That is, they were consistently trying to hit the goalkeeper as many shots as they could. Like I said, like you can see here on the screen, 27 shots. Uh, just outright outrageous level of shotting, shots in total. Um, they could have had a lot more goals. I think they were a bit unlucky. I think they hit the post um, at the beginning of the second half, and it came off the post and then had another shot which like just barely went wide. They had a couple chances that also narrowly went wide. A few pretty big saves from the Saudi Arabian goalkeeper. I think there was one that was outstanding where he like full stretched at least two times. I think he almost pulled his like calf or not his calf, his thigh on one of them. Just insane goalkeeping capability. I think just goalkeeping in general at this World Cup has just been on another level. I don't know if it's just a world. It's like the World Cup, so like players are just amped up even more or something. But like, there's just something in the water here right now that's just making the goalkeepers go insane. Like everybody's becoming like prime, like Neuer, Buffon, just like it's just insane. I've never seen this many goalkeeping masterclasses at a World Cup in my life, and I've watched like a fair amount of World Cups since I was born. I think I only missed. I think I started watching since 2010, so I've watched like the last like four or so, consistently, like every single game. So yeah, for the table that is, Uruguay and Saudi Arabia really put themselves on the map here in Group H, and it really sets them up. They basically have to get through the raid boss that is Spain, and they have a good chance of getting out of the group. If they can either nick a point or even all three against Spain, they have a really good chance of getting out of Group H here, which would set them up pretty well for the rest of the tournament. And then last year here we have Iran versus New Zealand. And this was the last game of the night, and it was another outstanding one. Two teams who have a lot to prove. Um, New Zealand haven't gotten a win, I think, at a World Cup ever, and came very close. I think um, it was just a little bit of unluckiness. I think they were kind of relying a little bit too much on Chris Wood to do something. I think and he did link up really well with the other striker, Elijah Just, who two really good goals. That first one, clinical finish to tip it over the defender and the goalkeeper, and then the second one, just another really tidy finish to slot it past the keeper. Iran played really well. I think the fact that their team, a lot of their team is really old. I think the oldest team on paper here at this World Cup, and a lot of their players have not played in their league since February, since their league was discontinued or what's the word for it, like paused or something like that. I can't remember the technical term for it, but a lot of them haven't played competitive soccer in about 4 months or so, 5 months. So a lot of them might be out of fitness, but they played really well. I think they the first 45, 30 minutes or so, they were kind of trying to find their footing a little bit, and I think New Zealand took advantage of that and got that early goal. Kind of just took the game by the scruff of the neck and really went at Iran. And then after Iran got that brilliant goal, the way that Razi Rezain, I think that's how you pronounce it, got that second touch off to bring it towards the net. Got a little bit lucky with the deflection towards the other player, or the not Rezian, the player who passed it to Ramin Rezian, who got that touch over to him. Really lucky, but is a great finish and great play overall. And then the second goal by Iran, outstanding header. That just no keeper in the world can say that, off the post and in. It was just set up by two outstanding cross passes, like from, I think it was like the left back or the left midfielder all the way to the right winger, and then the right winger into Mohebi. Just outstanding play from start to finish there. I think that shows Iran's technical qualities. They're a really good team. And going back to the table here, with Belgium and Egypt, I think if they can get something out of Belgium and maybe even nick a point at Egypt, I think they can get out of the group or at least be one of the best third place teams at this World Cup. Um, yeah, I think this group staging is looking to be really interesting. A lot of draws and upsets so far make more tense and more pressure on a lot of these bigger clubs to perform, which could lead to more slip ups for a lot of these smaller nations and less firepower nations to maybe get something out of these results and get farther into this competition. So, day five, living up to the hype as all the previous 4 days have, and hopefully day six tomorrow will be even better. I guess as of recording, it was day six tomorrow, but this video will go out on day six, so hopefully day six lives up to the hype. I think it's France versus Senegal. I'm looking forward to that. I think that's game of the tournament. Uh, Not game of the tournament, game of the group stage so far. That'll be. And I have them as predicted in the final, so if that is true, be pretty good rematch, depending on how results go. But yeah, looking forward to day six, everybody.